Brodes Media.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. I just did 4 hours of radio at 6 o'clock to 10 p.m., essentially prime real estate for heavy reaction to this nonsense. You could only imagine what that feeling was, those emotions were. 6-0, 1 on the dot. Realizing that the guys who cover the team are letting us know, yeah, the Phillies are done after adding only Harrison Bader today. And I felt obligated to come home, kiss the dogs, kids are sleeping, wife sleeping, and I thought to myself, I can't go to bed. I got so much filth and disgust on me from the nonsense that Dave Dombrowski just did. I need 30 more minutes. Because it's fucking unbelievable that he addressed center field the way that he did. The objective was to do exactly what you did with Duran, but do it with a stick. And I don't want to hear for a second that Brodes are overreacting and they did improve. Is he not better than Rojas? Oh my God. If you think being better than Rojas is the goal, then go get a tattoo on your right ass cheek that says 2025 champions. Go down Broad Street and show everybody that new tattoo. Go ahead. Whoop-de-damn-do. You did better than Rojas. Are you sick? The goal was to help separate you from the crew. Do you actually feel better about the chances, or do you feel the same? Because if you feel the same, then you didn't do enough. And yes, that is a byproduct of the Padres putting their foot on the gas and the New York Mets getting some pretty reliable arms in their bullpen. They did damn well in their pen, too. Cedric Mullins, not so much. I think Bader's a better player. But ultimately, I needed to get a feeling from the front office that they were serious about this. They did another half-ass. Now, this half-ass felt bigger than other half-asses, but it's still in the category of a half-ass. We heard from Jim Salisbury, 2 days ago? When he was on with the WIP Morning Show, and he said he spoke to some veterans and they would not be happy if they don't seriously go after something here. Well, if you could connect them all to a lie detector test and you get the truth, this good enough for you? I don't think they're saying yes. Maybe with the pen, but the full body of work, not just one individual addition. Full body of work. And how Duran was the first move with the whole 24 hours to go. To me, that says we're open for business. And here's what else I don't want to hear is, well, if Quan didn't get moved, or if Luis Robert didn't get moved, if these guys didn't get moved, then there's nothing Dave Dombrowski could have done. Abso-fucking-lutely he could have. You make them available. Do you think Mason Miller was absolutely 1,000% available? Or did the Padres put something in their face that they had to accept? Now, I don't want you to be stupid and just be blindly throwing crap at the wall like nothing matters, but this is a simple way of viewing it. Dave Dombrowski is probably not going to add enough to the table originally. The other team is going to come back with way too much on the table. Your job as a general manager or president of baseball ops is this. Find that gray area in between both parties and then figure out a way to make that player available accordingly. What's Aiden Miller doing that you can't move this kid? He's 21, not 19, 21, hitting 220 in double A. Dude, the way they talk about this kid, he is the next Derek Jeter. Promise you he's not. And I'm getting this message from multiple baseball fans. You asked what prospects actually hit Brodes. They matter. Look at J.P. Crawford. J.P. Crawford is a nice player. But if you're telling me your franchise can't survive moving off of a J.P. Crawford early, then your organization is not well ran. Or, ran well. Yikes. Been a long day. And truth be told, I'm on day 2 of feeling the difference between having one kid and 2 kids. The overstimulated, want to bang your head against the wall because it's just chaos. No, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But there's a lot going on here. And then you top it off with Dave Dombrowski. I don't do anything, Dave Dombrowski. I suck, Dave Dombrowski. I should be fired. Fired. If I don't make it to the NLCS, Dave Dombrowski. You throw this into it all, too, and now it's holy hell. The hell is going on? Harrison Bader. And they don't even know what they're going to do with Justin Crawford yet either. What was the big quote that we got? It is media availability. This one will make you shit yourself. He says this. Dave Dombrowski says he believes Justin Crawford is ready to play at the major league level, but he needs to play. And Dave says he is not sure they have the capability to have him play full-time at this point. If he can't beat out Johan Rojas, if he can't beat out Max Kepler, if he can't beat out any of these guys that we throw out there every day, then he's not major league ready, because that's the bottom of the nothingness. They don't even deserve to be here, and he can't beat out them. And he's hitting 320-something in AAA. When is it going to be time for him to outperform those guys? Because this is what I'm believing. I'm believing Dave doesn't think he's ready yet. And he's probably right, because the dude can't hit a ball that's not a ground ball. He can't drive the baseball. I'm starting to wonder if he even has value around the league the way the Phillies value him, because I mean, if he was that sexy of a prospect, then you'd be hearing the Guardians ask for Justin Crawford and not only be about Andrew Painter. But it's all about Andrew Painter. So, oh man, so many layers here. I would be willing to part ways with Andrew Painter if you're getting a proven talent back. I could understand if he's your one untouchable. But then find a way with Aiden Miller. Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford, and these guys are so highly coveted, we can't move off this guy. Then why can't you get serious offers back in return for him? I don't get it. It's just not adding up to me. The math isn't mathing. So I think Dave realizes he's just not good enough. And that's not really going to project into Major League Baseball, the ground balls, no matter what his batting average. There's a big jump between AAA and Major League. And, oh, by the way, we're talking postseason Major League Baseball, where you're getting the best of the best. You're getting some of these cats that the New York Mets picked up on. I was actually thinking, I know what my show is going to be if they end up flopping and failing, which is expected, before the NLCS. Another NLDS series loss, he's got to go. Obviously, a wild card loss, got to go. Dave Dombrowski must be fired if they do not get to at least the NLCS. We'll see if it's a Game 5 NLDS that's wild and insane, and you were right there with the team that, makes a World Series appearance, and we'll get to that bridge whenever we have to cross it. Until that happens, I'll keep it vanilla and basic. NLDS wildcard, you losing those 2 rounds? Gone. Done. Franchise-changing moment. And that's why this was a big deadline for Dave. Because he needs to operate under the idea of, I am doing this for my job. But then again, he's always been 1 foot out and 1 foot in with this group because of everything he was trying to build in Nashville. So he never really had both of his feet in the way he did in previous destinations of his career. And that's why we're seeing the difference in urgency. You guys want to hear Dave? All right. Here's Dave Dombrowski speaking about Harrison Bader. Oh, man, they're trying to find a spot for him. If you can't find a spot for it, not find a spot. If it's not so fucking obvious that your addition at the deadline isn't plugged and then you figure out the other people, he automatically gets full-time. He automatically gets his name right into the lineup card every day. That answers my question on how does Bryce, how does Nick, how does JT, how do these guys feel? Hey, he answered the question by telling us that mathematically they still have to figure out how to make this equation work and how to add these pieces together. Then you didn't do enough for them. You didn't do enough for the veterans. You didn't do enough for this clubhouse. You didn't do enough. Because it shouldn't even be talkable. Here's Dave Dombrowski on Harrison Bader.
The Topper's decision, of course. He's going to play a lot. The lineup will be Topper's decision, of course. We're happy to get him. He's played well this year, offensively and defensively. He's hit the ball with some pop. We think he helps us. I'm not sure which way he's going to go on a regular basis, if he's going to play every single day or not, but that'll be when you'll have to let Topper. We're just very happy to have him. Think that he's a good addition for us from both perspectives, offensively and defensively. He's done it, and he's been doing it this year, so we think he can continue to do it. And it's not like he is hitting 400 and then continues to go forward there. He's been just producing on a regular basis. I think the type of player he is, he's been a good player for years, really, but this year's a little bit better from an offensive perspective by all means. We just think that he's played well and he can continue to do so.
All right, so I don't think Harrison Bader is a bad player. I don't. I think he's a Major League Baseball player who has now danced around a bit, but he is dancing around for a reason. There is something there that intrigues guys, and, you know, he's got some edge, and he does have a decent OPS in the postseason, and I know there's been some discussion about his splits, and because he's got some weird reverse splits, it's interesting to think about them wanting to platoon him, because it's not as if he does a phenomenal job with left-handed pitching, let's say, but he is a major leaguer. The idea was to take a bigger swing. Go get Kwan. Kwan would make this nasty at the top of the order. It's not my traditional way of maybe building it, but if you put Kwan at leadoff, 27 years old, been an all-star twice, and he's got some team control. What upsets me is they're worried about Aiden Miller in 5 or 6 years more than they think about consuming a 27-year-old two-time All-Star who is someone that you can't just look at the box score and the batting average and think that tells the story of how Kwan plays. Kwan is annoying. Kwan is a pest, and I've had my fair share of ripping into Trey Turner, not loving that contract. But when he plays his best baseball offensively, you see how that drives other teams crazy. He's getting a single, taking off for second. He's getting a double. He's constantly moving. Now you're passing it off to Kyle and Bryce. Well, what if you had two versions of Trey's offense at the top? Now Kyle can bat clean up, Bryce bats third, and it just adds another element. And I don't know if that element is automatically writing you into a World Series, of course, but it makes you better and puts you in the best possible chance to go after it. Puts you in a better chance. They didn't put themselves in a good enough chance category for me. They didn't. Regardless of what Vegas odds say, they're not accounting for what we know. This is why on paper, the Phillies should be doing better. The Phillies should be producing more. They should be getting more out of Stott, or they should be getting more out of Nick. Or people who watch the team on a day-to-day basis and sees it with clear eyeballs, it was a miscalculation by Dave when assembling this team, and their name value doesn't pop as much as their actual on-field production. I'm not talking Bryce and Kyle, but the collective group in totality. You can talk all you want. Well, they have this guy, that guy. They should be able to do this. They can, but they can't. They can't. Forget what they should. They can't. And they needed to add some more juice to that to give them a better opportunity. Instead, Harrison Bader, And if you did 2 Harrison Baders, I think that gives me a sense of you at least went to a third level, or a third option. What I mean is, I think they had their eyes set on A. And if they can't get A, then they're just not doing anything. Their A was a bigger name and probably Bader. If they could have made that happen, that was their plan. But they were okay with just going with Bader and then having your A just be a nothing. Isn't that what makes Howie Roseman so elite? Is not only there was more to that, but what I want to say is Dave Dombrowski isn't willing to sort of slither through and get unique and get creative and find other lanes. He doesn't do that. It's this or whatever. Well, Howie, if I'm going to go after Max Kepler doesn't work. Well, then I'm going to do something else, and I'm not going to stick with that, and I'm going to figure it out because I know and assess that he's not good enough. Bryce Huff, he's not good enough. Good enough. Goodbye. Carson Wentz, he's not good enough. Goodbye. He doesn't do enough of that. And at least if there was another okay player coming back in the outfield as well, just a pro, that it shows a sign of urgency and care of we are trying to improve these holes. Dave doesn't think there are holes. And honestly, if they got another Harrison Bader, I probably would still be ripping them and it would fall into the not so much enjoyable category. It'll be underwhelming still. But again, it doesn't feel they care enough about pursuing this. Take what I just said for a grain of salt because, I feel a little iffy on it, but I think you get my point. You know what I can't wait for, though? I can't wait for tonight to unwind, okay? To be able to relax, hang out on a summer night, and smoke an Emilio cigar. I need it. It's a calming presence. It is an outstanding taste, the greatest taste to ever touch my lips, by the way. There's only one cigar to smoke, and that's an Emilio cigar. New school roots, old school attitude. No, old school roots, new school attitude. Made at the Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. It is so fantastic, it's not even funny. I can't stress enough how much I'm staring at this clock, knowing that I am going to enjoy the best cigar that I've ever had. And whether you're going golfing, whether you're going to a family party, whether it's just you on a late night and you just want to escape for a little bit, I am telling you right now, there's no one better than Emilio Cigars. 3rd generation, locally owned, by the way. You can check out the link down below in the description. You will get 10% off using promo code Brodes10. So do not be silly here. Do not be stupid. Don't pull a Dave Dombrowski and miss something that's going to be glorious. Join the Emilio Cigar family today. You just had to make Quan available. How about O'Hearn? Huh? Could you imagine? There was so much to do. There was so much to get excited for. If they only truly cared about winning baseball. Unfortunately, that's not the tone that I'm getting from this crowd and this front office. They absolutely backhanded you and smacked you in the face. I had some poor, nice woman, all right, her name was Debbie, and she called in and she goes, I'm not watching. I'm never going to be able to consume them. Once it's the 6th or 7th inning, I'm out. I'm turning the damn TV off. They are a disgrace. Dave Dombrowski is a joke. And I'm going, Deb, this should be Brodes and Deb. We got to have a full show together. I love it. And she's so right, though. She is 1,000% correct. The fact that I have to hear that from Deb, okay? The fact that we got to figure out how to fix our outfield and put in Harrison Bader when that's supposed to be your new flashy object and your new flashy toy. Gross. Gross that he's not good enough. And it almost devalues Duran. How much have I even mentioned him so far today? Barely any. You got him. You got David Robertson, 40 years old. You got Kirkering and Strom, and you got all these cats, right? Yeah, well, I don't believe in some of them as much as you do. Lizardo, Painter, I don't know. Duran is real. But why get Duran if this was going to be the follow-up? Because I made it very clear. What makes Duran exciting with 24 hours remaining is the idea of that's what we're getting after here. It must be duplicated. It wasn't that and an okay guy. It wasn't that and a fine addition. It was that and another version of that, just with a bat in his hands. And it was available. And it was right there. And they still weren't able to go after it as aggressively as they should have. And it hurts more than anything in the world. It really does. I am so disappointed. I'm also mad at myself. Because in a way, I let the door crack open way too much after Wednesday. I did. I probably should have known better. And in my heart of hearts, I was still leaning towards there's no way Dave is going to wow us because that's not what Dave does. No matter what every national media member says, which is still mind-blowing, they crank him the way they do. I let the door stay a little too cracked, though. I opened up my heart just a bit. And to no surprise, here we are. Gross. All right, so speaking of Jim Salisbury, who I brought up with an earlier comment on the morning show, he joined the afternoon show today. I thought this was an interesting question from Spike, and then here's the response from Salisbury. It's about a minute and a half. Take a listen.
So here we are. Phillies have made two trades. They trade for Duran. They trade for Harrison Bader. The question to you, Jim Salisbury, is, one, do you think they're done? Two, is what they've done enough, especially in the context of what everyone else has done?
It's enough if their core guys, they're big $1 million, $100 million, $300 million players produce. I mean, there's great track records and resumes in that lineup, and they need those guys to be more consistent. I love the move that they made for the closer. I think it was a gaping, glaring hole. I think it was their number one need, superseding the need for offense, and they went out and got maybe the best closer available, one of the very best in baseball, a dominating guy. I mean, a big, intimidating physical presence who can fire and can move that ball around and has kind of been there, done that. Got a little bit of postseason experience, but I think he's hungry for more, and I think he's a real difference maker, and it's going to take pressure off a guy like Kirkland, who's pitched well and improved this year, and it's going to take pressure off everybody else and slot them down. So I love that move. To me, that's a move that a team trying to win the World Series makes. Bader is, to me, just a very marginal move. I'm kind of wondering how he fits in. I guess initially maybe a platoon center fielder, but eventually maybe your everyday center fielder or your everyday left fielder. I wonder if something else is coming here as we count it down, because I think they could move an outfielder.
One of the first things he stated stood out to me, and that was the internal getting better idea. Dave Dombrowski sort of said something very similar in that media availability. It was about how some of these guys, as you're seeing with Brandon Marsh and as you're seeing with JT Realmuto, but the truth is, I just don't think there is that in them. I don't think there is. Wouldn't we have seen it by now consistently enough? Like, of course, there's a quick moment of it, but to win a World Series, that 2022 experience really shined a light, though, on what it takes. And that group was a different version of them then. I don't believe, forward thinking here, after the Dave Dombrowski additions, that there is enough with internal fire and internal growth to win. And that's what makes me devastated. And that's what breaks me down to my core. On paper, names, we can run through the names, but the names don't show the on-field finish. They don't show the on-field results. It's going backwards, and it's getting worse, and it's getting uglier, and there's more pressure involved. And now you're putting insane pressure on these prospects, and I hope they can handle it. Look, if you're going to be serious and you're going to be a star, you actually use that to your motivation and your advantage. It's simple. It's they rely heavily on me. Dave wouldn't put me in deals for Quan. He wouldn't put me in deals for others. I'm going to do everything in my power to be exactly what this fan base needs. And then he goes and kicks ass. It's not impossible. But so does Justin Crawford, and I don't think his game relates to Major League Baseball the way you need it to. He just doesn't lift the baseball. He doesn't. But think about the expectations you're putting on him. There is zero movement left or right. There's no learning curve. It's this better be, here you go, I'm a stud. Let's go win a World Series. Hey, good luck. Because no one just steps into the league and makes that happen with the snap of the fingers. It's not the right place, right time. It's too late now. Maybe if you did it earlier in the year, there's plenty of regular season games to go. This puppy's moving. You got a big series coming up against Detroit. You got the Mets at the back end of the month. And by the way, you see a righty from Detroit. Are we going to see Max Kepler on the mound? Or on the mound? Oh my gosh. I can't roll that out. The bullpen's been so thin. Might have to give it a shot to try and save your millions of dollars you pissed away. Oh, what's that? You pissed away that in Romano in the offseason, and here we are trying to improve our bullpen and our outfield because you're disgusting and really bad at your job, and it's an absolute joke that you thought that this was going to be competitive enough to win a World Series, and at the deadline you're supposed to add to the team, not do your offseason job, but you did your offseason job at the deadline because you're not good at your job and you stink and you're a flat-out fraud, and there's no way in hell that your Hall of Fame career speaks for anything that you've done here because it's been an absolute abomination. I don't even know what I was saying. I can't stand it. Dave Dombrowski is nowhere even close to the person people say he is. How did he earn this reputation? Unless John Middleton's calling the shots, which is a question. But it's pretty well documented that John Middleton, from what they say, believes in Dave Dombrowski so much that he really does want him to run the show the way he wants. So is this Dave Dombrowski saying, trust me, Steve Pierce, trust me, I can find those guys? Would you be shocked if Harrison Bader was someone who caught fire and got hot and had a couple of postseason bombs? No. But do I think they're good enough to win a World Series with this offense as constructed? No. And if they use Duran the way that Rob Thompson likes to use certain guys, what if in a playoff game the pocket is the 8th inning against 3, 4, 5, and it's a 1-run game? In the 9th inning, you're going to see, if you get a 1, 2, 3 inning, 6, 7, 8. Would you put Duran in the 8th and then ask somebody else to close, like Robertson, Strahm, if there's lefties or anybody of that nature? Because originally I said that would be the dumbest thing in the world. This is what the guy does. This is him. Some are made differently, all right? And the way that their attitude and the way that they're mentally clocked, and they are a closer. But does that make logical sense to have him face 3, 4, 5? Because then who's facing 3, 4, 5? Kerkering, Strahm, David Robertson, Luzardo, Painter. These are scary things to ask. So I'm actually starting to talk myself into that. But then who closes? Now I'm worried about who's getting the ball in the 9th. They have people who are capable of doing it on any given day. I wouldn't be shocked if Kerkering does it. He can do it, but it's can they do it consistently enough? That's a totally different question. Then can they do it once? But in the playoffs, you, I guess, cover your face. You do the whole cover your eyes, cover your ears. We win the game. Okay. Just look at the final. We won. Doesn't matter. Escape the day. I'm starting to lose my mind. And that's because Dave Dombrowski is a joke. Let's go to the phones. Let's take some calls. Let's go to Sean. Yeah, let's do that.
So as excited as most seemed to be about the Duran move yesterday, enthusiasm greatly tempered today. Now, I honestly looked at what was available as far as bats goes, and I didn't really see anything that was going to provide an uptick to this offense anyway. But my question now that the trade deadline has come and gone is, what can you do about this offense? The one thing that has to be done, Justin Crawford is still here, right? It is inexcusable, in my opinion, not to give this kid a chance. How, on a team that can't hit their weight, when you have a guy in-house that's hitting the way he's hitting at AAA, do you not at least give him a chance with the big club? I mean, are we trying to win, or is that just a bunch of lip service?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if Justin Crawford is. I don't want to be the bad guy, but expecting Justin Crawford to be something that changes a postseason run at this point, it's just not that. It's not that. If it was, he would have been up by now. It's not that. It's just not. Think about it. We're talking about going after Suarez before he gets moved. We're talking about making a big swing for a Kwan who would be interesting and unique and build this team in a fun way that adds them a layer. A Luis Robert even. At this point, I would have taken a Robert. There are bats, and even if the bats aren't publicly wildly known, you make them available by your price. Your price is what makes them available. So you can make guys available. That is part of your job. And so is with the San Diego Padres. They went a little haywire. They went a little extreme. But it shows you that these prospects are nothing but just chips. Part of a prospect's journey and part of their intrigue. And actually, if you think of the math about how many minor league teams there are, how many minor league leagues there are, the math tells you they're actually more useful as bargaining chips than they are real prospects panning out into superstars, all-stars. There's just not enough space. So mathematically speaking, they're more interesting, and part of why you build them is intrigue. Well, then, think about it. We once had Sixto Sanchez. As soon as that flopped, which we won that trade, by the way, with JT Realmuto, but I'm saying once that experience flopped, him not being great, we got an Andrew Painter prospect. Once you lose Stott and Bohm, here's Aiden Miller. This whole narrative that, well, how are they going to have a system? Here's the next wave. We're talking about the next wave. Justin Crawford is the next wave. We had the guys that I mentioned prior. Boom, Stott. That was that way. Now this is this way. Prospects just keep going. Prospects just keep filling up. They keep going up. That's what happens. When you go down, they go up. You draft more. Go draft some damn good prospects and fill the pot back up. And then make the trades again. Wow. Wild concept. Sure, here and there you got to get things to pan out, but mathematically speaking, sheesh, it's crazy. But I'm not on the, I was going to say I'm not on the screaming about Crawford train because I don't think it's good enough, but based off of Kepler and, I don't know, Rojas, like, I do think this is the best. I don't remember if I finished my Flaherty point with a right-hander on the mound against the Tigers. Did I even finish that point? Because what I wanted to bring up is it going to be Marsh and Kepler because two lefties on the mound against a righty? Did I finish that point? I don't even know. I'm telling you, I'm going nuts. We're getting ready to stop this thing because it's actually scaring me. But what I think is the best for this team as currently constructed is you put Marsh in left, Bader in center. And you let them play every day. That's what I think is the best for this team. That's what I think. The way they're constructed now, I think that's the best. We'll see what they do from there. All right. There are a lot of calls here, and I feel bad because I didn't really get to as many as I wanted. But it's going to be a hot topic throughout the next couple of days. So I'll make sure we can maybe incorporate some of these calls mixed in with what we see when they take the diamond again. I don't appreciate that. I'm very mad at myself. am sorry. I don't know. I'm running out of gas, fellas. I'm running out of gas. It's been a long day. Before we head out of here, I got to tell you about my friends over at Green Lawn Fertilizing. They are the best in the world. Experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And right now, you can receive 50% off your first 2 treatments by getting started with the link down below in the description. Let me tell you something. I didn't pay attention to my lawn at all. And then I met with the experts. I sat down with them. And the way they educated me on the treatments and the length of time it takes for all this to happen and the scheduling, and they sent me this whole document on this is how it's going to go. Boom, boom, bang, very detailed and constantly checking in on you. It's so cool. They are the best in the entire world. And again, the link is down below in the description where you will receive 50% off your first 2 treatments. Part of my favorite time of the morning is being able to have my cup of coffee, let my dogs out, and see the gorgeous grass. And then my front lawn, I got neighbors asking me, how are you getting this done? And I say, yo, Green Lawn Fertilizing. Nobody does it better. So make sure you join the Green Lawn Fertilizing family today. With that, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you on the next one. Come on, Dave. You screwed up. You jerk off.